There is a profound, almost tragic irony in the pursuit of strength as we age. The very methodologies that built your physique in your 30s and 40s, the heavy weights, the low repetitions, the explosive, grinding effort, are the exact same tools that are actively destroying your body after the age of 70. If you are over 70 and you are still stepping into the gym adhering to the classic 6 to 8 repetition rule for muscle growth, you are not merely stalling your progress. You are actively accelerating your physical decline. You are stealing your own gains, and you are walking blindly toward a catastrophic joint injury. Today, we are going to perform a biomechanical autopsy on the aging male body. We will analyze groundbreaking clinical data from McMaster University that proves why heavy lifting fails older men. We will explore the silent death of your fast-twitch muscle fibers, the desiccation of your tendons, and most importantly, we will reveal the exact, scientifically optimized repetition range and tempo required to build dense, functional muscle without ever damaging your joints again. Welcome to the lab. It is time to update your operating system. Section 1. The 23% growth deficit. For decades, the golden rule of hypertrophy, muscle building, was universally accepted. Lift a heavy weight that causes you to fail between 6 and 8 repetitions. This rule was written by young men, studied on young men, and relentlessly marketed to everyone else. But science has finally caught up to the reality of the senior athlete. Researchers at McMaster University, a leading institution in kinesiology, conducted a rigorous study observing older adults engaged in resistance training. They compared the traditional heavy load, low repetition protocol against a lighter load, higher repetition protocol. The results were a paradigm-shattering revelation. The senior men who trained using the traditional heavy weights, 6 to 8 reps, experienced an astonishing 23% less muscle protein synthesis than the men who utilized lighter weights and higher repetitions. Let me be absolutely clear. The men lifting heavier weights were working harder, risking more injury, and yielding significantly less muscle growth. Their bodies were fundamentally rejecting the stimulus. To understand why the heavy weight failed them, we must look under the microscope and examine the biological decay of the aging machine. Section 2. The physiology of aging, fast twitch loss, and tendon rigidity. Human skeletal muscle is comprised of 2 primary fiber types. Type 1, or slow twitch fibers, are designed for endurance and stability. Type 2, or fast twitch fibers, are designed for explosive power and moving maximal, heavy loads. As a man crosses the threshold of 70, a brutal biological pruning occurs. Due to age-related sarcopenia and neurological changes, you lose up to 50% of your type 2 fast-twitch muscle fibers. When you load a barbell with a weight heavy enough that you can only lift it 6 times, you are demanding explosive power from an engine that has lost half its cylinders. The muscle fibers simply cannot generate the requisite force. Because the muscle belly cannot handle the heavy load, the mechanical tension does not disappear. It transfers. It bypasses the muscle and applies sheer, destructive force directly onto your connective tissues, your tendons, ligaments, and joints. But at 70, your tendons have lost their hydration and elasticity. They are no longer supple rubber bands. They are rigid, frayed ropes. When subjected to the immense stress of a heavy 6-rep max, they do not adapt and grow stronger. They suffer micro-tears, severe inflammation, and eventual rupture. You are attempting to build a house by smashing the foundation with a sledgehammer. Section 3. The recovery paradigm. The heavy lifting protocol is also fundamentally incompatible with the senior man's recovery timeline. Muscle is not built in the gym, it is broken down in the gym. It is built in bed, during deep sleep, provided the central nervous system has adequate time to clear inflammation and synthesize new proteins. At 40, Your endocrine system was a furnace. You could inflict massive mechanical trauma on your body with heavy weights, and your high levels of testosterone and growth hormone would repair the damage in 48 hours. At 70, that metabolic furnace has cooled. The time required for your central nervous system and connective tissues to recover from extreme mechanical tension extends from 48 hours to 72 hours, or even longer. If you adhere to a traditional heavy lifting schedule, training before your body has fully recovered, you enter a state of chronic overtraining. You are breaking the muscle down, and before it can rebuild, you are breaking it down again. You trap your body in a perpetual catabolic state, actively accelerating the muscle loss you are trying to prevent. The heavy weights are literally stealing your gains. Section 4. The Sovereign Solution. Metabolic stress and the 12 to 15 rep zone. If we cannot use heavy mechanical tension, how do we signal the aging body to build muscle? We must change the weapon. We must utilize metabolic stress. Metabolic stress is the process of keeping a muscle under continuous, moderate tension for a prolonged period, trapping blood inside the muscle belly and starving it of oxygen. This creates a deep, intense, burning accumulation of lactic acid. That burn is not just fatigue, it is a profound chemical messenger. The brain detects the high levels of lactic acid and responds by releasing a massive surge of systemic hormones, specifically human growth hormone, HGH, and localized growth factors. To achieve this optimal state of metabolic stress without damaging the joints, the senior man must train exclusively in the 12 to 15 repetition range. By using a moderate weight that you can control perfectly for 15 reps, you are targeting the slow twitch, type 1, muscle fibers that you still possess in abundance. You are bathing the muscle in growth-inducing hormones while completely sparing your brittle tendons from heavy mechanical trauma. Section 5. The Execution Blueprint, Tempo and the Machine Advantage. Lifting a lighter weight for 15 reps will do absolutely nothing if you use momentum. To generate metabolic stress, you must master the physics of the movement. You must master the tempo. We deploy the 3-1-2 tempo. 1. 3 seconds down, the eccentric phase. This is where muscle damage and growth occur. Do not let gravity pull the weight. Fight the resistance slowly for a full 3 seconds. This builds immense tendon strength safely. 2. 1 second. Pause. At the point of maximum stretch or contraction, pause. Eliminate all momentum. 3. 2 seconds up, the concentric phase. Drive the weight smoothly and deliberately. When you apply this tempo, a single set of 15 reps takes over a minute of continuous time under tension. The muscle will scream for oxygen. The growth signal will be deafening. Finally, we must address the environment. For the man over 70, machines are superior to free weights for hypertrophy. Free weights, dumbbells and barbells, require massive amounts of core stabilization, balance, and joint integrity. At 70, you're stabilizing muscles fatigue long before the target muscle does. By utilizing high-quality machines, the machine chest press, the leg extension, the seated cable row, you remove the necessity for balance. The machine stabilizes your spine. This allows you to safely isolate the target muscle and push it deep into metabolic stress without the terrifying risk of losing your balance or herniating a disc. Gentlemen, aging is an inescapable biological reality. But frailty, weakness, and joint pain are often the result of stubbornness and poor strategy. You cannot fight a new war with old tactics. The heavy lifting that built your empire at 40 will burn your empire to the ground at 70. It is time to check your ego at the door, embrace the 12 to 15 rep range, master the agonizingly slow tempo, utilize the safety of machines to isolate and destroy the weakness within your muscles while preserving the integrity of your joints. Train the mind and the body will follow. If this masterclass has shifted your perspective on longevity and training, it is your duty to act. Hit the like button to signal the algorithm that men demand intelligent, science-based standards for their final decades. Subscribe to the channel and join a brotherhood of men who refuse to fade quietly into the night. Share this transmission with a brother who needs to update his operating system. Stop grinding your joints. Start building your legacy. Dismissed.